Well, first of all, actually, I want to wish you all bon appetit, as they would say in Brussels. My name is Pierre. I work for a company called FireEye. We are part of the industry. And actually, in the 6-7 minutes, I would like to take you through what I think are the key things we should be looking at from out of a perspective of, how do we actually tackle a really, really complex and a really, really big problem, actually. And I can talk for hours, but I actually want to focus on two different types of topics. Topic number one is what are, if we look at it from a consumer-based type of solution, what are the people in Europe actually requesting to us? And take a look at it from a perspective of actually, in case somebody or an organization, it might be a public organization, it might be a private organization. One of the demands that we see from out of the civil part of the countries is actually that they want to be notified within 24 hours that some of their personal information has been leaked towards the outside world. Now, recent studies that we've done actually show that on average, an organization that is being breached, it takes them around 142 days to actually understand that they have been breached by an organization. Right? Add some of these numbers up. 60% of the cases, an organization, could be a public, could be a private organization, actually gets notified from the outside world. Right? By an organization like ENISA, a CERT, an organization like FireEye, or even Microsoft. Always organizations that try and help with this rather complex situation. And hopefully you can appreciate 142 days back to 24 hours. There's a big, big gap in there. And that's actually a gap that we're trying to fill up as the industry, but also as the governments. Like, how do we make sure that we try to keep that gap as close as possible? Because at the end of the day, some of the directives imply that an organization is able to respond or actually give insight into a breach within 72 hours. This is already a little bit better than 142 days. So that's actually where we start needing to work as public and private sector and the industry actually working together. And my previous speakers were actually already touching on a couple of things. Like, one of the key things in there is cooperation with each other. Try to be more open on what's going on. It's not just an industry problem, it's not just a governmental issue, it's not a public sector or private sector challenge, right? It's combining all of these powers into things like CERT, intelligence sharing, and trying to enable all of the various aspects that we actually have in the market to work together with each other. However, one fundamental thing we shouldn't be forgetting, I'm actually pretty happy that I was sitting with the former Minister of Education, I believe, right? There's a skill gap. Right now, we got about 1 million people short with proper security skills. So that means by the time it's 2020, which is 3.5 years from now, that number will have grown to 1.5 million. At the beginning, there was a question like, are we gaining or are we not gaining on the threats and the threat landscape? We're actually not gaining, and that gap is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And one of the key things that we and I, as FireEye, do believe is that we should be helping nations, we should be helping organizations in enabling their core people in understanding better how actually security works, how you detect certain things, how you analyze things, and how you respond to it, which ultimately will help organizations reduce again, the 142 days to something which is a bit more acceptable. So my personal perspective from that is that we should really work into countries in getting younger students actually engaged on information security. Not only information technology, right? We do a lot on technology. Technology evolves, but the cyber attacking side also evolves. So techniques are becoming more and more interesting and challenging actually to understand. And we need to make sure that we look further than 2020, we look further like 2030, 2040. We actually have the capabilities within our own countries, within our own organizations, to actually take good countermeasures and make sure that we don't stretch the skills gap that we have, the skill gap that we actually have. I'm just closing to my 6 minutes. So I would say enjoy the rest of your meal and get